Welcome to World Rowing's Race Coastal Module Keynote series. It's great to have you back. In this keynote, we're going to talk about launching and landing. My name is Guin Batten, and I'm a former Olympic silver medalist and World Rowing Coastal Champion. So let's get going. In this session, we're going to cover the basic carry, some simple launching and landing techniques, and some rough water examples, landing in rough water. So let's look at the basic carry. In this video, you can see the double sculls have got their blades pushed across the boat before they carry it down. They've got 4 people carrying the boat. And as they come towards the water, they put the bows down first, keeping the stern up high so the fin doesn't get caught. Okay, let's look now about getting into the boat. So, critical thing for the solo is to make sure the bows are facing into the waves. As the rower stands sideways between the bows and the rigger, and they have both oar handles in their outside hand. They wait for a big wave to pass, if there are any, and if they're in shallow water, they simply step into the middle of the boat and get rowing beyond the breaking waves. If they're in deeper water, they will jump their bottoms, their backsides, into the middle of their boat and twist their feet in before they row beyond the breaking waves to adjust. Shall we watch a video? So here we've got a video. We've got a video of a solo. You can see the blades being put in across the boat so they don't get in the way. You can see this chap here, he's got a bow rigger on, so he's having to step between the rigger and the side of the boat. You can see he's pulled his blades together, he's holding his seat. He's using the sit technique. So did you see he did a small little jump and now he's just making sure he gets himself clear before he does any adjustment on his feet. Okay, so let's talk about launching in the double scull. Very similar technique. Place the bows into the waves, have the crew stand sideways on either side of the boat, bring both oar handles to the inside hand, look for any big waves to pass. Bow should enter the boat first. If it's shallow, they simply step in. If it's deep, jump to sit in and twist their feet across. When bow is ready to row, stroke enters in the same way, and they row beyond any breaking waves before they adjust. Let's have a look and see how some people do it in practice. So we can see here there's a little bit of swell running onto quite a shallow beach. It's quite a calm day. You can see here, crew are just making sure that their bows not pushed off. They've got their blades pulled across the boat. Now just getting themselves into the entry position. So just getting to the point where their blades are butted up together. And you can see bow steps into the boat. While stroke side is just stopping the boat drifting back. Stroke just gets in. He uses the sit, goes straight to the sit technique. Now before they adjust or do anything, they make sure they get clear of these breaking waves. And you can see they're not paddling too fast, so they're not going to be thrown off their seats. They're just gently going over the waves. Once they're clear of those breaking waves, they'll adjust and continue on their way. Let's look at the launch for the quad. Again, place the bows into the waves, stand sideways between the bows and the riggers, have both oar handles tucked together, wait for any big waves to pass. Bow pair should enter the boat first, while stern pair and coxswain are holding the boat into the waves. If it's shallow, they'll simply step in. It's very unlikely that it's going to be shallow for a quad, and so it's most likely that they're going to have to jump in, and bow person may actually have quite a steep climb to get into that bow seat. When both bow pair are ready, stern pair will enter the boat, and as the bow pair row the boat out beyond the breaking waves, the coxswain drops the rudder and the guys get clear of that danger zone of the breaking waves. Let's have a little look of this, how this might look in action. So here we are, got a crew ready to go. Bow pair are already in at this stage. We've just got stern pair starting to get in. So again, step across. It's quite steep here. You see they've had to work quite hard. Coxswain's just getting themselves ready, and then they will row out. There's no real waves on this particular example, so they're in no real rush to get off. So let's talk about landing. So a beach arrival. Very simple, in calm conditions to moderate conditions. Again, just wait for a small set of waves to row in. At the last minute, make sure the coxswain pulls up the rudder, or if there is a retractable fin, pulls that up. The crew get out on alternative sides. The oars, the blades are pulled across the boat so they don't get broken. The aim is to keep the boat empty of water, if at all possible. They could spin the boat by pointing the bows into the water or by lifting the stern so the waves don't enter into the boat. Key bit, protect the fin and carry the boat up the beach. Don't have a video for this one, I'm sorry. So let's talk about some techniques for some rougher conditions. So if you're arriving, there's two examples that are used here. So if you're arriving in big conditions, you may want to actually come in backwards. So about 10 meters off the beach, turn the boat so it faces into the waves and gradually let the waves push the boat backwards into shore. Key point here is to make sure that the boat's not filling up with water, or if it is, it's pouring straight out of the back of the boat. Make sure in a quad the cox lifts up the rudder, and as you get closer, stern pair can get out, or in a double stroke can get out of the water. As soon as they can, slide their oars across the boat so they don't get broken, and athletes should go to the stern. Keeping bow in the boat at this point can often keep the bows nicely faced into any waves. And at the last possible minute, the bow rower should get out of the boat while the rest of the crew lift the stern to keep the waves, to keep the water out of the boat. As soon as bow can, make their way to the stern and the whole crew can drag the boat out of the water, stern first, with the bows just tucking along the surface of the sand. So that's one way of doing it. So that's the backward way of approaching in big conditions. Let's have a little look of another technique with big conditions. So in this, again, wait for a small set of waves, row into the shore between the waves until the bow touches the sand. In the quad, make sure the cox lifts up the rudder. The crew should quickly slide their oars across the boat so they don't get broken and quickly go to the stern. As soon as everybody's out, make sure there's enough people lift the stern up to stop the waves breaking through the boat and filling the boat up with water. And then the crew should lift the stern and swing the stern high, pivoting the boat around the bows, and then drag the boat up the beach. Okay, so there's some examples of how you can do it. I don't have any videos of these rough conditions, but I've practiced all of these. We've trained for these in crews that I've been in. So if you do have videos of some great techniques in rough conditions, do share them in the comments below. So, top 10 tips for launching and landing. Agree the system you're going to use before you start. Always watch the waves and make sure you don't get the boat sideways on with the boat between you and the wave. That's going to certainly hurt the odd knee or bruise. It's going to give you a bruise. Keep the bows and stern facing into the waves. Always protect the blades, the fin and the rudder. They're highly susceptible to damage in launching and landing. And use good technique in small waves, so when you need to use it in the big waves, it's a real easy thing for you to do. well done on finishing this keynote. Good luck with the rest of the course and look forward to seeing you out on the water. If you like what you've heard, make sure you tell us in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about coastal rowing, head over to worldrowing.com and explore the exciting world out on the water. Take care.